In my opinion. In my opinion, the government should pay for university. In my opinion, chocolate is the best flavor of ice cream. In my opinion, the finest wines are those from France. In my opinion, Muhammad Ali is the greatest athlete of all time. As far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it's man-made climate change. As far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to wait for luck. As far as I'm concerned, your argument is more compelling. As far as I'm concerned, everyone should be given an equal opportunity. To be honest. To be honest, some technology is more of a hindrance than a help. To be honest, it was one of the worst books I've ever read. To be honest, I think the new policy is completely unworkable. To be quite honest, I'm just not interested in Western music. I am fond of traveling to different historical places. I am fond of vegetables and cabbage in particular. I am very fond of lobsters, but they are very, very expensive. I have been fond of adventure since I was a child. To tell you the truth. To tell you the truth, this new trend does not resonate with me. To tell you the truth, I was afraid of public speaking. To tell you the truth, I am not a big fan of video games. To tell you the truth, I cannot forget my past mistakes. I have been a subscriber to BBC Learning English for many months. I have been to London many times since my childhood. I have been an avid reader of English newspapers for many years. I have been hooked on a film, which I have seen several times. Generally speaking. Generally speaking, this is a difficult question to answer. Generally speaking, champions are built from perseverance. Generally speaking, boys like active sports more than girls do. Generally speaking, the coldest weather comes in January. Apart from these, there are many more things to think about. Apart from this, we have some important issues to consider. Apart from this, there are a substantial number of challenges. Apart from these, we have more challenges to deal with. There has been substantial improvement in technology. There has been significant damage to our environment. There has been a positive development in art and culture. There has been a negative development in social values. A significant number of people. A significant number of people are oppressed by the military rules. A significant number of people are influenced by TV advertisements. A significant number of people are suffering from this disease. A significant number of people are living in cities rather than villages. It has become a common trend in our current society. It has become a norm in our contemporary society. It has become an indispensable part of our social and economic life. It has been an issue of ongoing discussion for many researchers. If we think about the positive aspects of X, it is helpful for us. If we think about the negative aspects of X, it is harmful to us. If we think about the benefits of X, we should embrace it. If we think about the drawbacks of X, we should avoid it. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why this phenomenon is occurring in different places. Nobody knows exactly why people are becoming greedy more and more. Nobody knows exactly why global warming is increasing day by day. Nobody knows why we become affected by certain life-threatening viruses. It is believed that eating garlic on a regular basis can cure cancer. It is believed that the dispute was rooted in government intrigue. It is believed that no fossils could survive from such ancient times. It is believed that water may also still exist as underground ice. Compared to city life, country life is quiet and peaceful. Compared to fans, air conditioners are more comfortable. These resources are nothing compared to what we got in the past. Compared to other students, my friend is quite hard-working. I'm looking forward to going to Switzerland next month. I'm looking forward to an acceptable compromise with the council. I'm looking forward to attending during the second season. I'm looking forward to seeing a safer Europe in the next term. Good at. The Dutch have a reputation for being good at languages. I'm not good at swimming any more than running. I think that Japanese students are very good at gathering knowledge. He is good at solving complicated mathematical problems. Once you push it, it keeps going under its own momentum. Once you have created a map, you can share it with others. Once you have a stomachache, take the medicine twice a day. Once you reach middle age, you have to be sensible with your health. Thanks to their help, we accomplished the task on time. Thanks to computers, lots of tasks are now easier. Thanks to your timely warning, I didn't make a mistake. Thanks to all of you who supported our fundraising campaign. There is nothing as exciting as meeting an old friend unexpectedly. There is nothing as enjoyable as reading a novel on the grass. There's nothing wrong with asking a neighbor down for a drink. There is nothing as pleasant as spending a weekend in the countryside. I can't help thinking about my higher education at Cambridge. I can't help laughing every time I think of that comedy. I couldn't help noticing your wedding ring, it's beautiful. I can't help remembering how stunning the museum looked. Interested in. My friend is interested in astronomy and bought a small telescope. I am greatly interested in learning about the stock market. I have been interested in geography since my childhood. She is terribly interested in other people's problems. Shouldn't you try to save some money rather than spend it all? Shouldn't we think about manipulation rather than elimination? Shouldn't we read the directions before we install the air conditioner? Shouldn't we check the weather before we go out? It is up to It is up to the regulating authority to put the measures into effect. It is up to each group to divide that time between colleagues. 30. It is up to law enforcement to initiate a criminal investigation. It is up to him to take advantage of this opportunity. If I were good at math and science, I would have become a doctor. If I were you, I'd take that job, it seems like a good opportunity. If I were you, I would go to London for higher study. If I were you, I would probably agree with the decision. I'd be grateful. I'd be grateful if you would send me further details. I'd be grateful if you kept this information to yourself. I'd be grateful if you would show me the right procedure. I'd be grateful if you advise me from a more experienced person. In order to understand yourself in order to better understand others. The government plans to cut taxes in order to stimulate the economy. Teamwork is required in order to achieve a long-term goal. We exercise regularly in order to reduce body fat. It is so. The man is so old that he cannot look after his health. The problem was so hard that they cannot solve it. The teacher is so intelligent that he cannot make mistakes. The topic was so interesting that it cannot overlook. I wonder whether there are good grounds for this experiment. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to give us some information. I was wondering if the manager would agree with my design. I was wondering if you could come to the meeting this afternoon. I am sorry to inform you that your application has been unsuccessful. I am sorry to tell you that he passed away after a massive stroke. I am sorry to inform you that you are not allowed at the meeting. I am sorry to say that the proposal has been rejected. Whether or not. You have to pay standing charges whether or not you use the service. They'll find out the truth whether or not you tell it to them. It's debatable whether or not the reforms have improved conditions. Whether or not we can go ultimately depends on the weather. In fact, her familiarity with modern technology was limited. In fact, his business career had distinctly unpromising beginnings. She pretends to have various abilities she doesn't, in fact, possess. The holiday was really disappointing, a complete disaster, in fact. At that time, her face was on the covers of all the magazines. 3 witnesses gave testimony that he was absent at that time. At that time the government was unwilling to resist the foreign invasion. At that time the East India Company was the virtual ruler of Bengal. I would rather exercise than sit on the couch all day. I'd rather make a phone call than send an email. He would rather work all day long than do nothing. She'd rather resign than take part in such shameful business deals. No matter what. No matter what happened, they vowed to stick by one another. No matter what the circumstances, she's unfailingly cheerful. No matter what your age, you can lose weight. No matter where he goes, he carries his suitcase. What I'm trying to tell readers is that plastic doesn't really go away. What I'm trying to say is that human nature doesn't change. What I'm trying to say is that you should think of others. What I'm trying to say is that smoking is harmful to health. Speaking of honesty, I know a lot of people who don't pay bus fares. Speaking of bicycles, China is called the Kingdom of Bicycles. Speaking of the movies, have you seen The Patriot? Speaking of traveling, are you going anywhere exciting this year? It may surprise you, but I paid off all the debts in a year. It may surprise you, but I bought all these books for 20 yuan. It may surprise you, but he's just been promoted to manager. It may surprise you, but he was once in prison. If I had seen the advertisement, I would have applied for the job. If I had my time over again, I'd probably do exactly the same things. If I had the choice, I would stop working tomorrow. If he had started earlier, he would have finished the project. So far, we have not received any real information. Diplomacy has so far failed to bring an end to the fighting. So far there is no conclusive statement of the research. So far everything has been successfully done. It is said that the spring water has medicinal properties. It is said that all comedians have unhappy childhoods. It has been proven that your method is the best. It will be noted that what they have done to him is wrong. What would you do if you were cast away on a desert island? What would you do if someone tried to rob you in the street? What would you do if you had a lot of money? What would you do if the rumors were true? Where there is a creation, there should be a creator. Where there are difficulties, there are ways to get over them. Where there are women, there are jealousy and suspicion. Where there is good, there is also bad. I am about to begin another workout session. I am about to lose my mind, you have been gone for so long. I am about to start a class action lawsuit against them. I have never experienced what I am about to share. You should have the responsibility of your own. You should have made a good decision. You should have corrected the mistake you made. You should have more confidence in the job interview. It would have been better to do the work during winter. It would have been better to share the information. It would have been impossible for them without your help. It would have been useful for beginners. As soon as. You should reply to this email as soon as possible. We will rent a new house, as soon as we can afford it. Health sectors must be reformed as soon as possible. As soon as I have settled down, I will inform you. Make sure that the audience is ready to hear your speech. Make sure that the windows are closed before you leave. Make sure you save your files in another folder. Make sure you have enough time for your family. Regardless of. Regardless of the bad weather, I had to go to the office. Regardless of poor health, he carried out his duties. It is applicable to everyone regardless of religion, color, or creed. Regardless of the danger, he went to the top of the mountain. You should never wait for others what you should do yourself. You should check up your health at least twice a year. You should put more effort into your business. You should become proficient in English in 6 months. Result in. Sleep deprivation can result in cognitive disorders. Crop failure could result in widespread famine. A bike accident can result in a head injury. Anxiety and worry could result in a lack of concentration. How about having seafood in this restaurant? How about visiting the park in the afternoon? How about going to the theater for watching a drama? How about going for a walk early in the morning? Would you mind? Would you mind speaking more slowly, please? Would you mind repeating that? I didn't quite catch on. Would you mind sending me a list of everyone who's coming? Would you mind stop sticking your nose in my business? It is absolutely critical for us to know the real information. It is absolutely vital that food supplies should be maintained. You should absolutely take preparation for this interview. It is absolutely vital to take physical exercise on a regular basis. It can be difficult for schools to get rid of poor teachers. It can be useful to write a summary of the article. It can be difficult to be a good parent in many cases. It can be tough trying to juggle a career and a family. Although the beach was crowded, we still had a lovely day. Although Tammy was tired, she continued to study. Although the sun was shining, it wasn't very hot. Although the building is old, it attracts many people. As long as the car will keep running as long as you take good care of it. I knew we wouldn't get lost, as long as we had the flashlight. There was no room for unhappiness as long as I was free. I will keep exercising as long as I don't make a good physique. It is worth. This will be expensive, but it is well worth paying that price. Whatever the case, it certainly wasn't worth arguing about. I am spending a lot of money on this boat, but it is worth it. It is worth learning the English language for better communication. I intend to file a very strong criticism of your teaching methods. I intend to continue it and see the job through to the finish. I intend to continue this pattern in the future as well. I intend to transfer my money to my children equally. I had to use a little gentle persuasion to get her to agree. I had to live on bread and water when I was a student. I had to restrain her from hitting out at passers-by. There weren't enough chairs, so I had to sit on the floor. I have no idea. I have no idea what sort of animals inhabit in this area. I have no idea who decided the composition of the committee. I have no idea where this phrase originated and why we use it. I have no idea about how to prepare those cuttlefish and lobsters. I could have. I could have won the game but decided to let her win. I could have finished my exam in half the time. I could have done it for you easily by using my technique. His design was infinitely better than anything I could have done. Show up. They probably will not show up at this meeting. She was liable to just show up without notice. We would be grateful if you show up today. We had 400 people show up for our conference. By the way. By the way, what happened to that incident? By the way, what is the departure time of our journey? By the way, why did you go to the hospital? By the way, have you seen my keys anywhere? I am afraid. I am afraid I cannot give you the right information. I am afraid we are not at liberty to disclose that information. I am afraid your decision is not accurate enough. I am afraid you've been misinformed about that. Supposed to. Journalists are supposed to be politically neutral. I think we always end up where we're supposed to be. The movie was supposed to earn a lot of money. He was supposed to confirm the schedule. I have to. I have to complain to him because of his rudeness. There are 1 or 2 questions that I have to ask you. I have to talk to the manager about the matter. I have to say I don't much care for modern music. Lead to. This election result could lead to further disputes. Vitamin deficiency can lead to a serious health hazard. Verbal abuse can lead to both mental and emotional problems. This is a serious dispute and could lead to armed conflict. I prefer tea in the morning rather than coffee. Generally, I prefer painting with watercolors. I prefer to keep out of arguments about money. I prefer to work rather than go on holiday to the seaside. Let me make a cup of coffee for you. Would you please let me know your problem? You must let me know when you leave the place. Please let me know when you come to London.